Hi guys, it's Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and I have an important announcement to make. First of all, I would like to thank you guys so much for tuning into my monthlies. They are actually what started me YouTubing, but I have decided to no longer do monthlies. And the reason that I am no longer doing monthlies is because I'm really passionate about doing my dailies. They really mean a lot to me. I really pour a lot of time and effort into them. And doing my monthlies and my dailies, if this was just my only job, I would completely do it. But I have a full-time job on top of doing this, and this is another full-time job. And this Jupiter in Virgo transit is really speaking to me about my day-to-day routines, my day-to-day health needs, mental well-being needs. And I need a certain amount of personal time that I take to enjoy myself. You know, I take you guys on my hikes, and I try to incorporate you in my life. But I think at some point there needs to be some time that I take for myself. So I know that sounds very ego-oriented, and believe me, I'm not an ego-oriented person, but I just need to have time where I go into nature and I just sit in it, and I don't have to think about energy, and I don't have to absorb it. I just go feel it. I go paddleboarding and take my dog, and I don't feel guilty about it. Like, I need some time where I have a little bit of that on my own. And I end up repeating 90% of what I say in my dailies that are in my monthlies. And so let's talk about the changes that I am going to be doing on my channel. One of the changes that I'm going to that's going to start to affect my dailies, and this is starting in September 1st, is that any astrological event that happens, like let's say, right, you know, we're going to have a solar eclipse coming up, we're going to have a lunar eclipse coming up, we're going to have Mercury going into retrograde. When we have astrological events like that, or full moons, or anything like new moons, I am going to make a very dedicated daily to that energy, and I am going to go into the houses and the signs. So whatever sign you are, I will tell you what house that's going to affect in my dailies, and it will be divided. It will be very clear that you can just jump to your category. I'm going to list the times. Also, I have some graphics that I've developed that I'm also going to go in, and I'm going to indicate when I switch over into each sign, so that you guys have a better understanding of the flow of it as well. But I just need to I'm duplicating work, and that is taking up twice as much time for me, and I've got to draw the line somewhere. I really do, because this is a free service. I don't get paid for these. I've got to, you know, start to make some healthy work routines for myself. Now I feel like going out, and I feel like having a life experience. I'm also going to start to develop the things that I've been wanting to develop on my channel from the whole get-go, and that is I'm going to start to do a little bit more empath work during my readings. I'm going to start specifying some intense times that I see when the energy looks pretty intense, because I can do that in my Kepler program. I can see when there's a lot of energy firing off negative, and I'm going to put those times in the drop-down information box, so that you guys can see, oh my God, why all of a sudden am I being hit with this insane energy? And the reason why you're getting hit with that hardcore energy could be because there's a lot going on astrologically at that moment. And I know that I feel it like that, and I know I'm not the only empath that does. And so I think these guides might help you keep it together a little bit more while you're going amongst your day, and these energies are switching into different energies, and they're opposing, and, you know, opposing a 10th house, or opposing, you know, a first house, or whatever, a third house. It's like you kind of got to know why you maybe had that fight at work. Well, maybe, you know, it was because of a communication issue, and they were all opposing your third house. So those are some of the biggest changes on my channel. You guys can, you know, see if you like them or don't. I also want to start to do more series, actual series. They're more teaching series, and it's just about general energies. It's mostly about manifesting, understanding highs and lows in energies. So when I talk about a square or QUINCUNX, you know, when a square is dragging energy into the negative level, you can look at it and say, oh my gosh, I had that complete ego-based reaction today. Oh, that was my Aries. Uranus today squaring off with my Sun. Oh, this is a lower vibration. I need to elevate my vibration at that point. So I really want to be more of an energy reading than I want it to be a horoscope. I don't, astrology helps me understand energy, but I'm more of an energy worker, a healer, and a light worker, more than I am an astrologer. I just love astrology because it makes sense out of energies that often, for me, don't make sense. And it's a guide, it's a tool, and it's something that I feel could enrich your life. So, you guys, let's talk about Saturday. So, this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for August 22nd, which is Saturday. And the moon moves into Sagittarius. So, your moon is your emotions, and it moves into Sagittarius, which means it moves into a very fiery energy. But it also moves into a very mutable energy. So, you're going to find that your emotions are very adaptable, but understand if they go too far outside some certain boundaries, then you're going to have a strong knee-jerk reaction and be more combative than usual. So today I want to take a look at some energy that's just popping to me, and that is the Sun in Leo, which is your ego, your core, how you see yourself, self-confidence, is going to be squaring off with two energies. It's going to square off with the moon in Sagittarius, which means it is going to pull it into the lower vibration of a Sagittarian energy, which is going to make it restless. If you come into some ego conflict, you're going to find that emotionally you're restless. You want to be a little bit more combative than normal. You're highly debatable about topics, and you don't really want to see other people's points of views. That's some lower vibration of Sagittarian energy. And it's going to pull Jupiter and Virgo energy down into the lower vibration because it's a square. And so if somebody brings something up to you that says, you know what, you're not efficient in this area, especially at work, then you're going to want to, it's going to hurt your ego, and then it's going to generate this moon in Sagittarius-based response to be combative, because this is all, and then it's all wanting to be pulled down into a negative vibration. It could mean that somebody's wanting you to change a habit that you have, and you know what? You don't want to change that habit, and you don't want to create a routine in your life. And having somebody tell you to create a routine in your life is going to set off your ego, and then in turn, it's going to cause this emotional response, becoming combative, becoming confrontational, becoming you're going to debate that your point of view is the best, and you're going to do that to try to control the situation and try to make them feel that they're stupid. Especially if it's something going totally against what you're ready to comprehend in your head. So today, I think what you're going to find is that you're just becoming accountable to others, and that's not going to go so well for you. You're going to have a combative response to that. You're going to have a very ego-based response to that. Another thing that jumps in here is Pluto in Capricorn is going to quincunx Mars in Leo. Mars is a very passionate planet, and it actually likes to go to war. And when it is in Leo energy, it is very ego-oriented. It's very self-protective energy, and it is going to quincunx Pluto. So to me, this suggests that there is an outside energy source holding you accountable to something. It is making you try to see something. It's making you try to change something. It's trying to put you into something it's trying to make you do something that you don't want to do, and that's going to create a power struggle between you and this outside source. And this is going to feel very it's going to make you feel very, it's kind of like when a child gets mad, they almost throw a tantrum about it. So you're going to be very combative person, especially when you have the sun in Leo squaring off with the moon and Jupiter at the same time. And all of this is in ego. So to me, there's something that's going to come up today that is just really, honestly, it has to do with somebody else and how you see things. It's very important to you. Now, when this happens, you're going to fall back on some South Node wiring. Not ideal. This is just the South Node wiring is just the things that you always have done since you've been a little kid. You know, things that you were brought into this world with. So when that happens, it's actually going to QUINCUNX your sun. It's going to QUINCUNX Jupiter, and it's going to oppose Mercury. So it's going to set off a chain of events that is very woof, and it could expand. What you could do is try to use somebody's thoughts against them to try to make them submit to what you see as a form of manipulation. That's highly probable, especially if it's ego-based. It could be like you want to make them feel as small as you do, or they may call you out, or they may call you out on your mask. You know, they may not see everything exactly the way that you do, and so you're going to want to make them. What I think would be a better choice of energy, if you're going to go into these combative energies and you're going to find that you're in a negative stance today, I think what might be helpful for you is to try to tap into some Neptune and Pisces energy. When you do that, yes, you're going to still experience an opposition in your sun and an opposition in Jupiter and a QUINCUNX in Mars. But oppositions, again, are energies that are here that want to go here. They want to meet in the middle. They want to compromise. If you can take an energy that's here, a Republican and a Democrat, and make them meet in the middle, understand what they could accomplish in the government, right? So you've got the Republican and the Democrat information, you know, stands over here. You want to find a way to appeal to both sides and to reach a resolution that can utilize both energy sources. So that involves some creative thinking. That involves some very broad perspectives, right? And that's when the moon in Sagittarius can actually come in handy, because when the moon is in Sagittarius, it's also a very broad-minded energy. So if this is something that you're very passionate about, what's going to happen is you're going to QUINCUNX. It's going to make you care enough to want to meet in the middle, because you're going to have a conflict about it, and it's going to be explosive. And then you're going to be like, this is stupid. It doesn't even need to get to this level. Let's see how we can do this, because it's good that on this day that you have a gorgeous moon in Sagittarius, because sometimes this can be very diplomatic energy. Now, I'm not saying that it's not blunt and sometimes sharp energy, especially when it comes to your tongue. Be very, very mindful of the tongue that you use with people. Don't just blunt say what's on your mind, because that is going to set off a bunch of QUINCUNXes and squares today. So you know who I'm really talking to? Aries. Don't. I know that you're going to want to, and they may even freaking deserve it, and you may be dead right, but I wouldn't do it today. It's not ideal, not worth it. Now, that's if you're falling back into your old wiring. If you're still trying to hold on to things that you want to do, if you're still trying to hold on to old, predisposed behaviors. But if you're not interested in that anymore, and you are all about ascension and moving forward, then you are going to have a glorious sextile today. And this is going to be the moon in Sagittarius, which loves to feel good. This energy goes out of its way to feel good. In fact, once you set off, I don't know if you've ever been around a Sagittarius, but they are the best time that you've ever had in your entire life. So they're a great energy that if you can be set off emotionally and you're super passionate about it, then it can get Saturn on board with it. And Saturn is not in here, because it's in a sextile, it's not in here trying to create any obstacles in your life. So it really wants to take expansive, Sagittarius energy that is in your emotions, and it wants you to get passionate. It wants you to get on fire. It wants to support your broad-minded approach to things, especially when it comes to emotional-based endeavors. Then what's going to happen is then that's going to sextile the North Node in Libra, a balanced energy, right? So it'll balance all these quincunx and squares out. And when it does that, you can expect that you're going to have some incredible transformation in your higher mind. You are when you let these energies in and you let them expand your thinking, when you really let Jupiter do its thing, because this is the day before the sun goes into Virgo, right? If you really start wrapping your head around the fact that you've got to change some things, you've got to change the way you think, you've got to change your work routines, you've got to change some health habits, you've got to change to get to the point where you are right now. You've got to change some of the things that you've always done to get to the ascension level. And the only way that you can do that is by letting energy do what it's supposed to do, direct you in a forward movement, direct you in an upward movement, direct you toward ascension and away from your south node wiring. You can't let your ego totally rule the way that you think, because if it does, then you don't get to experience the sextile suites. All you get to experience are quincunxes and squares, which suck. So that is your daily horoscope and energy reading, guys. I hope you like the new Annette's Astrology Corner, and if you don't, I understand. You can just not subscribe. I just need to find a way to create some life balance, and I want to get more into my empath readings, and I want to get more into my dailies. People need help daily getting through difficult energies. They do. It's easy for me to get up here in my soapbox and say, rah, rah, today is going to be a bad day. It really helps when people know that these energies are coming. So when they come, even with me, I'm like, oh, it's a quincunx day. So because today is just a day full of squares and quincunxes, when I am feeling like I am itching from the inside, when I can't find mental peace, when I feel like I have anxiety for no reason, I feel like the energies are just beating down on me and I can't seem to shut them up. I know why. And that's comforting, because I know, as long as I know it passes. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.